I should not really confuse it. Just leave me. Okay, I am an ordinary person there. All right, it's good, very excellent.
Technology is interesting.
Sorry?
Technology is very interesting.
So I'm not going to use this.
Not for now, yeah, maybe.
I mean, if you want to learn, go for it. But for now, this is simpler and without any complications. Salam. Here's the live stream. So let's send a YouTube link. So it's being broadcasted right now on YouTube.
So, but
without any voice right now. So until we start.
I see.
Okay. Do you want to put something up to present?
So you can share whatever you want.
Yeah, you feel free to share.
Sorry?
You can share on your screen if you want to present.
Good. Teach me now. Okay, this one.
So people are asking, is this supposed to be just an audio chat or audio and video?
Audio.
Audio chat.
Zoom, right?
Yeah.
So, Habib, her video is open. Stop video, I cannot stop it, do I? You can stop it. Oh,
Stop.
I did.
Yeah.
Oh, I am host, but I think I am co-host.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you are the host, I am co-host. You have to sign in first.
Yeah.
Why it makes me host? I just entered as an ordinary.
Because I think you're logged in as Ham.
I'm back to co-host now.
Sorry?
I'm back as a co-host.
Okay. And
I think you should, because this is being recorded, you should just unmute yourself.
I just heard him. Oh. I just heard how anymore. Okay, so where's your Zoom icon? Okay.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Let's try now. There's a trouble today for me. Everything is new. So, do you hear me? Somebody confirm, please. Hello?
Assalamu, I can hear you.
Yeah, thank you. Everybody hears me. Thank you very much. That's enough. Now, we are sharing the screen. So you see the piece we are going to read. We are going to read for those people who may have the printed material. So second mystery, we are going to read from the second mystery. So who would like to do that reading and giving us the background, what we have been doing, etc. On page 4, yeah. So Atija Beza, you are saying, yeah, would you like to give us the background, what we have been on Saturday mornings, and also read the text and moderate it? So we will discuss together, all together, not only with you and me, but everybody can join, ask their questions, comments, etc. Okay, so people know how to use Zoom program. Right, teacher, are you ready?
Inshallah, yes.
Okay, I mute myself and listen to you.
Okay, guess we're starting. So we've been reading from the first word. We didn't have class last week, but the week before, so we've been discussing the phrase "in the name of God, the merciful, the compassionate," and we were discussing how the different parts of this phrase look to like the entirety of the universe, and then zooming in on the world itself and created beings, and man himself. In particular, last week during our last class, we had emphasized that the need to look at the micro and macro worlds, and whatever that I see, I have to look at it with my mind, my feelings, my spirit, or what we, by my spirit we mean our human side, or the human qualities that I have within myself, like consciousness, desire for eternity, and I have to see what makes sense and live and act accordingly. So that would be my summary of our last discussion. And so today we are reading from the second mystery. So I guess I'll just read unless said otherwise. Okay, so the second mystery. This is on page 4 of the PDF. In order not to overwhelm minds by divine unity, which is apparent in the boundless multiplicity of creatures, the Qur'an of Miraculous Exposition constantly points out the manifestation of divine oneness within divine unity. In order not to overwhelm minds by divine unity, which is apparent in the boundless multiplicity of creatures, The Qur'an of Miraculous Exposition constantly points out the manifestation of divine oneness within divine unity. For example, the sun encompasses numberless things with its light. A truly extensive conceptual ability and comprehensive view is necessary to behold the sun itself in the totality of its light. A truly extensive conceptual ability and comprehensive view is necessary to behold the sun itself in the totality of its light. So, lest the sun be forgotten, it is displayed in every shining object by means of its reflection. And in accordance with its capacities, all lustrous objects reflect the sun's attributes, such as its light and heat, and the 7 colors in its light, together with the manifestation of its essence. And in accordance with their capacities, all lustrous objects reflect the sun's attributes, such as its light and heat, and the 7 colors in its light, together with the manifestation of its essence. So too the sun's attributes encompass all the things facing it. In exactly the same way, and God's is the highest similitude, but let there be no mistake in the comparison. Just as divine oneness and eternal besottedness have a manifestation together with all the divine names in everything, in inanimate creatures in particular, and especially in man's mirror-like essence, so too through divine unity, each of the divine names connected to beings encompasses all things. Thus, lest minds become overwhelmed by divine unity and hearts forget the most pure and holy essence, the Qur'an constantly draws attention to the stamp of divine oneness within divine unity. And that stamp, with its 3 salient points, is in the name of God, the merciful, the compassionate. And that is the end of the second mystery. So I will be muting myself so that host can speak.
Why did you mute yourself? So you were going to start the discussion. You are the moderator. Don't go ahead. What were the points that attracted your attention in the first paragraph? Of course, related to our subject.
So as the moderator, I'm asking our participants of 23 people here, what were some of the points that attracted your attention? And I guess while giving people time to think about certain points that may have attracted their attention, for me in particular, so the author here is making this comparison between divine unity and divine oneness and the sun with its manifestations or its attributes. And at the end, it also says, just to make sure that within our understanding of this particular comparison, not to forget that it's just a comparison. So I'm just going to reread the one sentence that attracted my attention. This is the second sentence of the second mystery. It says, for example, the sun encompasses numberless things with its light. So there are many things in which, you know, if you're outside, the sun doesn't withhold its light from one thing, or one thing that doesn't benefit more from the light. It encompasses everything. A truly extensive conceptual ability and comprehensive view is necessary to behold the sun itself in the totality of its light. I'm not actually entirely sure what the author's main point in this part here is when he says an extensive conceptual ability and comprehensive view is necessary to behold the sun itself. If anyone has any comments or questions or anything that they'd like to share.
Assalamu alaikum. The sentence that stood out to me when I was listening is the one where it's, so lest the sun be forgotten, it is displayed in every shining object by means of its reflection. I think that kind of stood out because if we kind of go with the comparison that's being made here, like even if like the divine oneness and unity is forgotten, it's still there and is still being reflected in everything that we see. Yeah, that's all.
Thank you. Perhaps what we can also do is, what is this divine oneness and divine unity that the author is referring to, based on our discussions and or this text as well? If anyone wants to share their thoughts, please go ahead. Aisha and Abdurrahman.
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you for starting us off. Can you hear me well?
It could be a little bit better.
How's this? Better?
Yes, that's a little bit better.
Okay. I will try to speak up, inshallah. I just had a comment. I guess, yeah, I think we should we can expound upon, I mean, this is kind of building off of our discussion of in the name of God, right? Bismillah. And so I'm also trying to approach this part of the text, the second mystery, with what we've kind of talked about, and as much as I remember about what it means for things to be in the name of God. But, you know, we can expand further upon divine unity, but I guess it's interesting to me that it says, in order not to overwhelm minds by divine unity, and it's giving the sun, I guess, as an example, you know, as limited as it may be, of this analogy of divine unity, and this sun that, maybe I'm spelling out the obvious, but, you know, the sun that encompasses the entire earth, well, not the entire earth, but depending on where it is in its rotation, etc. But, you know, I can't, by virtue of how I am, how I find myself, I can't kind of put my gaze upon the entirety of the sun, but I can really appreciate it when I look at a tree, when I look at, I don't know, the road. I can see the aspects that are being highlighted by that sun by virtue of where the light falls and by virtue of what is in my scope. But so it, as the sister said, as the friend said, you know, the sentence also attracted my attention of a truly extensive conceptual ability. So it's talking about something conceptual here, something conceptual, something that I can try to fathom with my you know, with my mind, with my senses, with my qualities, with my consciousness. And comprehensive view is necessary to behold the sun itself in the totality of its light. So it's saying that it's possible, I guess, to behold the sun in the totality of its light, but I guess by virtue of my limitations, it's so much more accessible to me to be able to see it displayed in every shining object. And I guess as is being highlighted here in the text, literally being highlighted, the manifestation of divine oneness within divine unity. So how I guess we can try to open up the terms of divine oneness and divine unity, but I guess I can sort of try to understand divine unity through my individual, if you will, experiences of the manifestations of divine oneness. So through my experiences of how that light is displayed in every shiny object, I can at least try to fathom or conceptualize the divine unity that is comprehensive. And I'm just kind of thinking out loud here, you know, also to kind of get the discussion going. So nothing, you know, absolutely mind-blowing is being said by me. But in accordance with their capacities, also, and I guess all this, like all things, even a small object, it reflects so much of that sun, right? The 7 colors in its light. So even in like the limitations of objects, there is so much being manifested, so much being indicated through. Through one instance, I am offered signposts, pointers towards a totality of something. Anyways, let me just stop there because I think I should try to think on my thoughts and try to organize them a bit more before I continue. But just adding on.
Thank you. I think one thing that you've said that attracted my attention, or one of the things that you said was working off my individual experiences or understanding this idea or concept of divine unity through my individual experiences of experiencing and of the universe and existence. But I just want to take a moment to see if there's anyone else that has anything they want to share, any comments or questions.
Can I ask a question? What is the problem with lest the sun be forgotten? Why do you think? Do we forget the sun? Anyone? Do you forget the sun? In the example, of course, but it seems to be the sun is everywhere daytime. So, I mean, it is just a comparison. Of course, it is an analogy. So we shouldn't say that, oh, of course, we forget the sun at night. No, because I think you pointed out as well before that somebody, one of our friends pointed out here that we have to remember and have the opportunity to experience the manifestation of oneness of God in every part of our life, whatever we do, because we know that it is not enough to say that the universe has a creator. Everybody knows this, the universe must have a creator. Okay, we know there is a creator. Assume that we all accept this. But while we are dealing with particular events or particular objects of the universe in our personal life, we may forget that the universe is created by a creator who is called God. But while I'm dealing with the object, I have to remember that is the main purpose of the text that we are reading, to emphasize how can it be possible that we should never forget the creator of the universe while we are dealing, for example, having my breakfast or breathing or, I don't know, seeing something in front of me. and maybe writing something, listening to somebody, how can I remember the creator of the universe? In practical terms, when I think of myself, my own position, while I am dealing, for example, cleaning something or cooking, doing something, I don't really remember the creator of the universe is a one, because I'm busy with the onion to cut. And I'm busy with my knife to be careful not to cut myself rather than the onion. So this is the mystery that the Quran teaches us. Quran doesn't only emphasize on the importance of belief in God, who is the creator of the heavens or and earth, but also your individual beings as well. But this individual beings is used in the Quran with the language nafs. Everything, kullu shay, every single thing glorifies God. That's why we need to combine this unity of God within the oneness of God. There is one creator, but unity, it means every single thing is also created by the same creator of the whole universe. Why? How can we make this consciousness always awake in our being, in our mind? Because we have to understand and study and comprehend that every single thing needs to be brought into existence only by the one who is able to create the whole universe. That is the training we need to go through. We need to go through. Every single thing needs to be created by the one who can create the universe. In the reverse way of thinking, if anything cannot create one thing in the universe, cannot be able to create the whole universe, also vice versa. If a one who cannot create the universe cannot be able to create one thing in it. This is very essential. I think you have covered all this through your comments, but I just wanted to emphasize for myself that, for example, in order to be able to create a bird, one has to be able to create the whole universe, because a bird is coming into existence through the whole order of the universe, and all the elements in the existence of the bird is working in harmony, in cooperation with the rest of the universe. So if someone cannot create the universe, cannot really be able to create a bird. That is why this example of the sun is manifesting its light. I think you mentioned all this. These are all mentioned. The example of the sun, because sun is one, but every particle in the universe which is exposed to the sun exactly reflects and reminds the human beings, conscious beings, that I am reflecting nothing but the light from the sun, light of the sun. Every single being is reminding us, what you see, all the qualities in me, for example, of course, this is the example we are talking, heat, light, color. These three qualities, main qualities, are from the sun. So every single being is saying, declaring that all the heat I have, the color I have,
Light.
and light I have is nothing but from the sun. No one can be the source of any of this in me. So if we train ourselves to understand that everything, single thing in the universe can only manifest the quality of the one who can create the universe. For example, coming into existence. In order to be able to come into existence, nothing can come into existence. Nothing in the universe can give existence to anything, including itself. Why? It is logically contradictory to say that a thing gave existence to itself. It is impossible to think this because it needs to be created. It needs to be given existence. And if it doesn't exist, then how it is going to give existence to itself? If it exists, then what is the cause of its existence? So it is logically inconsistent. Everybody understands this. So, for example, as it appears in the creation, it says, I am given existence. And in its existence, definitely endless qualities. When we study them, lots of things are going in their existence. They are hard, they function in this way, and they consist of atoms, and atoms consist of many other elements, or if it is an animate being, the cells and the organs, all of them work in harmony. And while they are performing their duties, they perform balance, they perform forms, everything has its own form, they perform purpose, they perform knowledge, who knows what is going on, and it is in interaction with the other beings. So they perform arrangement, they perform balance, enormous things are going on. For example, if we study oneself, so we understand that all these qualities must come from the same one as they manifest in other things as well. It means it is a universal quality everywhere. All the qualities manifested in each being is a universal quality. Think about the sun now. Sun reflects its light, heat, and color in everything at the same time, without being an obstacle for the others, without waiting in the line that, oh, this will be done and then my turn will come and I will be given this quality. All the qualities are given at the same time. That's amazing in the way that the universe is being created continuously and changes. For example, what is happening in the universe? Change. Everything is changing continuously. Who is taking care of this change? All the principles of changing is within the universe acting at the same time. Nothing can change independently from the order which is continuously subject to change. So if we really bear in mind this aspect, we say it is amazing. That I have no difficulty to remember God. Anytime, whatever I do, everything. For example, in my example, cutting the onion. So, and the knife is made of certain element, and every quality in that element is given by the one who created the material of the side, but a knife. So it is human made, but human beings make the knife according to the order. of the whole universe. They are given the option to choose. Otherwise, iron exists with its quality, but human beings have to discover this quality and put it in another arrangement, but within the order of the universe. That is my long comment. I have seen somebody else actually wanted to talk, so I should mute myself now. Thank you.
Thank you, Abdul Rahman. Your hand was out before. Please go ahead.
I think anything that I wanted to say was already covered, so that's why I put my hand down. Yeah.
Okay. Repetition never hurts. But I thank Brother Ali for his comment. So what I took away from what he said was that in the coming into existence, or in the way I experience, let's say, and with the example of the sun, everything that's coming into existence reflects the qualities of the sun simultaneously at the same time, without any particular sign of difficulty or struggle. So all of them, in one way or another, no matter whatever it is that's under the sun, reflects the sun's color, heat, or light. So connecting this to divine unity and divine oneness, I can see perhaps divine unity might be like as a too large or encompassing of a concept. So in my kind of narrowing down on particulars, in my, for example, I have a bottle of water here, and there's a certain way the light is reflecting off of it. So in my existence of that, then I can see the qualities of the light on the water, and not just conclude the necessity of the light, but also live with the consciousness of the presence of the light in my day-to-day life. So it's our essential question that we were addressing was, like, how can I forget the creator, or why is it that, or how can I not forget the creator, my creator, as I experience life? Like I find myself living day to day without necessarily bringing this to my mind. So what does that say about my situation? And I see a hand up here. Please go ahead, Aishanur and Abdurrahman.
Assalamu alaikum again. Since you said repetition never hurts, as you were talking, it just, came to mind that in the text, it says, it is displayed in every shining object. All lustrous objects reflect the sun's attributes. So what I guess attracted my attention was that, like, all and every, there's no most of the objects have the sun's reflections, or some of the objects have the sun's reflection. No, it's like it's everything. Like everything has it. Everything has a reflection of the sun's attributes. So I was just thinking to myself, there is, how do I go about in making sure that I see the sun's attributes, to speak according to the analogy of day life, as you were saying? Because I know for sure, in what I'm doing, where I'm going, whatever I'm busy with, I don't see it all the time. I say, okay, of course, the flower has that beautiful, I see the sun's rays on it and the qualities, and it's wonderful. But there are other things that I don't see quite as wonderfully. And or that I don't want, that I think are bad. And so I guess this was just like a reminder to me that like it's a, you know, Aishanur, like it's there. It's in everything, but I have to be willing to look for it, to reflect upon it, to search for it. And I, you know, it's just like I can experience divine unity in all things. I can experience the attributes, the reflected qualities of something's source of existence, because everything, but I find that everything shares the attribute of being created. If it's an attribute, I mean, I'm not speaking very precisely here, but you know, it's just, you know, it's all encompassing. It's in everything. It's in all objects, it says. So I guess just like the magnitude of that, as well as the reminder of that for me to, as you were saying, that it's in everything, even in things that I may not expect it, so long as I try to cultivate that consciousness.
Thank you. That was very helpful for me. Yeah, and I was thinking, just as I think the coming into existence of things, I think, can be considered a quality for sure. And as they come into existence in an orderly way. So in a way where I have observed something, and I call this thing order, and everything seems to be subject to this order and cannot get out of it. So nothing is independent of the order, while all of these orderly things or principles are all manifested or being manifest everywhere I see something, or anything for that matter. And when I become aware of this order, then automatically it looks to the orderer. And that is a way for me to remember as well. I'm not sure if there was a hand up earlier. I might have missed it. But if there was, please feel free to re-raise your hand. And if not, I'm just going to take a pause here to see again if anyone has any comments or questions or anything interesting that's attracted their attention. Please go ahead. There's hope. I'm not sure if you're speaking right now, but we're unable to hear you, but I do see your mic unmuted. But there, go ahead. Okay, your mic is unmuted, so if you want, you can speak. I think I heard you typing. Yes, I can. If you can just speak a little bit either louder or closer to the mic, that would be great. It's still very, very, very low.
I was reading the section where it talks about all the different ways that the sun's reflection.
I'm so sorry to cut you off again. I can hear you, but it's so low. It sounds very. It's a little better. I don't know if there's something blocking the mic, or if you can speak closer to the mic.
No, I don't know what it is. Can you hear me though?
This is better. I guess we'll have to make do with this. Thank you.
I'm looking at the part where it talks about the sun and the sun's rays and all these different reminders that we have. So I'm thinking, then how can we forget the sun if we have so many reminders?
Okay, so thank you. I'm going to just repeat what you said, just in case somebody else might not have been able to hear. So question was, the sun and the sun's rays are everywhere. So we have all the sun's rays are all reminders. So how is it that we forget? Is what I understand your question to be.
I don't see a way to forget.
I'm sorry, what's the last thing you said?
I just don't see a way to forget.
You don't see, yeah. And so she says, I don't see a way to forget. Thank you. Is there anyone who'd like to go ahead, Shahira and Juan?
Assalamu alaikum, can you hear me?
Yes, perfectly.
Assalamu alaikum. Awesome. So Juan and I were just talking and we said that our consciousness can be limited sometimes and that's how we forget. And also there's so many distractions and there's a lot of like rhetoric and discourse out there really distracting us from the oneness of the creator and the unity, the divine unity and oneness of the creator. So I think that's how we can forget amidst, our daily schedules as well. And I also wanted to comment that right now, with the situation we're in with the pandemic, I think it's also a reflection of the creator and how this virus almost came out of nowhere. Now it's everywhere around the world. And it's something for us to reflect on as well. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Is there anyone else who'd like to add on to or share their thoughts to what Shahira has shared? Please go ahead, Hami.
I'm sorry, I cannot raise my hand as a host, so I have to just unmute myself. That's the only way that what I want to do. Yeah, I want to talk. Now the question was very legitimate, practical. How can we forget God? Dealing with difficulties and getting involved in the daily business, daily interactions, things. I admit, very rarely I remember God. Not because I don't believe in God, because this awakened mind needs to be subsidized, supported with the evidence through training. Otherwise, I believe in God. Well, okay, I do as well. But if you have some difficulties in your life, or if you are involved in something which needs heavy concentration, how can you remember God there while you are busy with something needs concentration? For example, while you are studying, how can you? Because as long as we train ourselves that every single thing, even learning, why I'm using my brain, how my brain works by itself. So I have to see the manifestations of the qualities in every single being through training, not necessarily what is the brain. While I'm using my eye, for example, I'm seeing. Now, what are the manifestations? Not in this way, manifestations of the creator, the qualities of the creator in our eye action or power of sight functioning. No, that needs training in a particular way, not in a general way that, of course, I believe in God and I forget. I don't forget, sorry. I don't forget. Yeah, but while we are dealing within the conditions of this universe with particular things, and if I am saying, if someone asks me, what are you doing? I'm just looking at the things. So by looking at the things, I have to train myself. How how my looking is able, how am I able to look at the things and perceive them, see them, and memorize them, record them in my memory. All these actions needs to be studied particularly, or needs to be taken, all of them need to be taken into account particularly, in order to be able to remember that this particular event, whatever we are engaging ourselves with, this particular event can only come into existence with all the qualities that it is manifesting in its being, only by the one who can create the whole universe. That takes us to our belief in the creator, that this creator owns and encompasses everything within the universe that we are living in. That needs a very heavy training. Of course, we have to work on it, because if you remember, I'm sure you all remember that in the Quran, always every single thing glorifies God. This is a very important phrase that is introduced to human attention, that every single thing, yes, every single thing. If I really train myself in this, then we are studying Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim in the name of what? Every single thing coming into existence only with the name, or it means manifesting, only manifestation of the qualities of its creator. Try to train ourselves how to say La ilaha, not the thing. For example, I'm wearing a cloth now. The cloth has this color. Now, if that thing can act on its own in order to be able to give existence to the color, La ilaha, consciousness, no. Particular things we have to train ourselves. Otherwise, to believe in God is very common in the world. Great majority of the population of the world believes in God as the creator. But how much of us, how many of us remember in every action that it is directly created by God, rather than saying, because of this, because of that, it happened? For example, the virus we are talking now, have we ever thought that this virus, whatever the function it is doing, can come into existence by the one who is able to give all these functions that this small creature is performing, only by him, not no one else, not accident. I'm not blaming anyone, don't worry. But we are talking here, in a friendly way. So it came out of nowhere, our friend told. It attracted my attention. No, it came out of the will of the creator of the whole universe. Nothing is accidental. Nothing is nowhere. Everything is from the creator of the universe. All it is functioning, it cannot function by itself. It is under the order, under the command, under the ruling, control of the creator of the universe. It cannot act by itself. It has no will. It has no knowledge. It has no power to create itself. to give this all qualities to itself. Take yourself as an example. Can you give any quality to your being? Your ability to think, your ability to do, your ability to use, your capacity, whatever is giving, your body, your feelings. Where did you get them? Each of them says, I can come into existence only through the will of the creator of the universe. No one can give me existence. All the things that we are dealing with are acting according to the will of the creator, but we are giving the option, only option to use them, how to use them. That is nothing more that we are just using our free will to choose. We are not creating. So this virus doesn't have will either, not like human being. So it is acting according to what? It is functioning according to what? Where did it get all these qualities that it is really, whatever, multiplying very quickly and also going from where to another places, etc., etc. How? Does it have a will? Does it have a power to give existence to itself? We have to question. That is why we learn from the Quran that every single being is coming into existence in the name of the creator of the universe. That is called Bismillah. Ismi Allah, in the name of. It means with its authority, with its act of creation, with its lordship. Oh, our friend is waiting. I'm sorry. I think I have to stop here. Thank you for your patience with my prolonged talk.
Thank you for your comment. I'd like to read Shahira's comment before giving it away to Tolu, or Shahira and Juan. They say, yes, it seems like it came out of nowhere for those who lack consciousness of the Creator and the Creator's will. But this is an opportunity to question and reflect. So, yeah, I think if we think about like just the existence of the virus and everything that it's been doing, can I really say that the virus is spreading or that it knows my body to know how it can infiltrate it and have it respond in a particular way? If I become sick, is the sickness from the virus itself? Can the virus bring the existence of sickness for me? Or if I'm taking medication, can the medication bring health to me? Or all of these things, like it's clearly, as Brother Ali was mentioning, there's no signs of will or power for the virus to act in a particular way. Just like myself, it's subject in my body, it's subject to the order, and it's acting in accordance to, it's acting in an orderly way, but it doesn't have the quality of consciousness inherent to itself. So it must mean that it must be acting in an orderly way as a result of a conscious will. I'm gonna please, thank you for your patience. Tolu, please go ahead.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, cool. So I think you might have already answered the question that I had in your statement right now, but I'm still gonna ask it. So in this time of the pandemic, where there's like a lot of anxiety, and we're being told to stay indoors and not go outside, I can see the logic of the sunlight and the reflections as a reminder, but we're not even allowed to go outside as much, so it's hard to use that as a reminder in these times. But the question that I have is, So like in this time of the pandemic, we're seeing countries, we're seeing like medical businesses, labs, you know, they're trying to support citizens. They're all rushing to find a cure for this disease. And like I am, you know, so I am like hoping and wishing that they find this cure soon. And it's hard for me to think about the creator of the universe right now, because all I'm thinking about is like, okay, my life is not the same way my life used to be. I want my life to go back to the way it was. So like, I want a cure to be found so that I can go back to doing the things that I used to do before all this came out. So how and I think you just try to describe that, but how do we use our logic to like analyze or to think through what we're going through right now? Because for me, my feelings and my emotions are just saying, this sucks and I want life to be like it was before.
Thank you for your beautiful question. And I think this is one that resonates with most of us, if not all of us. I think just some thoughts that I have as I was listening to you is just going off of Shahir and Juan's comment about this being an opportunity to question and reflect. Like, I think especially these past couple of weeks, it's like, is there not a time when we're not thinking about the virus, or majority of the time we are thinking about the virus? And in questioning whether or not this virus can act in the way that it does by itself, I think that would lead me to question the source of existence of the virus. So maybe I might not be able to go outside and enjoy the sun per se, but the virus itself is reflecting the sun's light, heat, and colors in one way, in the sense that it's acting in a way that it's acting according to a particular order that it's subject to, that it cannot itself have the ability to know, for example, if like to even attach itself to a particular surface, or to make itself into my body, to know where to go, to know how to interact with whatever it is that it does, to bring upon certain symptoms. So I can try to utilize my I mean, I think like one other pandemic that we're all subject to that I've been thinking about is, you know, everyone is talking about how to avoid the virus, but no one is really talking about why we want to avoid the virus. Why is it that I want to be healthy? Why is it that I want to live? And I think within these feelings themselves, is a reflection of the sun, like where the ability, the need within myself to want to be healthy, the desire within myself to want to not catch this virus, looks to my desire for a happy, healthy life that actually extends to eternity. And I need to utilize, at least for myself, this virus to question these feelings, and to be reminded of my source of existence, of my creator, who has given me this feeling of wanting to be healthy. So surely he is one who gives health. And so I think, you know, seeing the virus as a reflection of the sun as well could be one potential way of being a cure to this heedlessness that I find myself subject to. Farah, your hand has been up. Please go ahead. We're not able to hear you right now. I see that your mic is unmuted. Okay, she says, let me check my mic and get back. No problem. Gulad has a comment saying, questioning the feelings sparked by the existence of the virus is a really great suggestion and point of reflection. Inshallah, I think if we can, or if I can utilize that feeling of, like even wanting my life to go back to the way it was, is a desire for wanting health and happiness for myself. But if the virus is preoccupying my mind, then I can utilize it to remind myself of its source and my source, by saying, okay, does the virus itself have the ability to make me sick, even if I take all these precautions? Like, where is this feeling coming from, and does it actually have these abilities? So Farah, I'm just checking in with you again to see if your mic is fixed, and if not, if there's any other hands that like to try to address our friend's question here, which I think resonates with everyone. Aisha Nur and Abdurrahman say, I am in need of stability, security, health, and the uninterrupted continuation of all this. Yeah, I think that's very succinctly and clearly put. Thank you. Jabeen, please go ahead. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name.
Assalamu alaikum. No, you pronounced it right. As you were talking about the virus, and before this, you were talking about how everything is in order. I guess it just led me to think that if everything is happening in order, then can one say that if they take the precautionary measures, um, they will be able to stay safe from the virus? Like, how does that play into order? I'm not sure if my question makes sense, but I'm just thinking that if everything has order, then according to the order, if I take the precautionary measures, I should be able to protect myself from the virus. What do you think about that?
Thank you. I think that's a great question. I think I've been talking a little bit too much, so I'd like to see if anyone else or our host here, who cannot raise his hand, has anything he wants to say. But I guess while I wait for others to raise their hand, I'll say some things on my mind. So as far as I experience everything is subject to the order, right? So if in order for me to get out of the room that I'm in right now, I have to get up and walk over to the door. I cannot fly or transport myself, teleport out of here. And in the same way, the virus, there's a way in which, or there's an order that it's subject to, insofar as that there's also precautions that I can take in order not to be infected. But to say that the order itself is, I think a key point that I need to become aware of is the order itself is not it doesn't have a conscious will. It doesn't decide the order itself. The order is not the orderer. The order looks to the orderer. And so as far as I'm concerned, all I can do is follow the order, so I can wash my hands and do whatever in order to avoid getting infected. But following the order doesn't necessitate that in and of itself that I don't get infected, because that's beyond the scope of my free will. So I think that's in part a different discussion that we're kind of leaning into right now. but if anyone else has any comments that they want to make to answer our friend's question or the other question as well, I would be much obliged. And if not, then please go ahead, Sarah. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum, guys. What came to my mind is just, if we follow the order with desiring to be healthy, we have to, from our previous, mashallah, previous halakas, understand that that's by following order, we are just in a state of prayer, a prayer of action, right? Like, so our hearts desire something and our bodies also follow through in prayer. And I think at the end of the day, the most important thing and the only purpose is to realize who we are. Yeah, we desire a certain result, but that doesn't mean that we will get that result. I think the most important thing is just to realize who we are, always in a state of prayer, vulnerable, and can't guarantee anything. That's all.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I was thinking, as I was listening to our friend here, regardless of whether or not I get sick, in my following of the order of the universe is in taking the precautions or taking medication if I'm sick or whatever. The point is, I think there's someone's mic is unmuted. I couldn't hear myself. Okay, so does anyone have anything they want to say? If so, you can raise your hand, or if you're calling in, you can unmute yourself and I'll take that. Please, Brother Ali, go ahead.
Sorry. Now, all these questions and concerns are very valid and practical and really important to cope with and answer. Of course, I don't want to mention the names because it is a public place and it is going to be uploaded on YouTube. So I don't really mention the name. So I say our friend, even not mentioning the gender, let's learn this. So she or he said, our friend. So our friends made good comments. Of course, I keep repeating this in our all discussions, that we have to go always to the bottom of the matter, very fundamental cracks of the matter, which is existence. Now, for example, as our friends expressed their concerns, their feelings, their comments, we seek for a solution for this kind of problems. Actually, we seek for a solution for everything, not necessarily this one. Every day we breathe and we seek for air. Because it is abundant around, we don't think about it. But if you are deprived of it, you start really struggling the most you can do in order to get some air into your lungs. So we are always in need of, regardless of everything, regardless of this problem, we are always in need of it. If only I have to pay attention to the existence of these things are happening. For example, the desire in me, of course, you put it out, that the existence of the desire, how come it existed within me that I want to survive, I want to keep my health, I want to keep away from this danger. Now, how come that I realized it's dangerous for me? How come that I'm looking for solution and going to the labs and studying the order in the existence of this virus, whatever it is. But particularly nowadays, everybody is concerned with it. It's a serious problem for everyone. It is a legitimate concern, definitely, and we appreciate those people who are looking for the solution within the order of the universe. And also this creature, this virus, is acting within the order of its existence. So I have to question, I have to be aware how this creature acts in this way and how we can choose a way of getting rid of this creature and how this feeling exists in ourselves. How come it exists? Usually I take it for granted that I am afraid of this, I am afraid of death, I love health. I don't question all these senses. How come they exist? So if I train myself through the discussions like this, if I train myself, then I will become more and more aware of paying attention to the existence of everything I am practicing in my life. I am experiencing within this universe, everything. So that is why we are doing all this. We call it belief training, belief education. It means not that the universe needs a creator. That's obvious. You don't have to come every week or hours and hours and bother about it. It is obvious, isn't it, when you look at the universe? That's why it was very important to see the divine oneness within divine unity. Unity means in every single being, every quality in every single being can come into existence only according to the will of the Creator.
Brotherly, you, I think, muted yourself.
Which is the absolute creator, which is the absolute creator of the universe. It means with no limit, it is boundless, it is beyond the qualities of the universe. That's what we have to train ourselves, attributing every single quality, even within myself. Fear of a danger, a dangerous thing, fear of danger. How come it exists in me? Yeah? That's a great question. Thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to read a comment that's been here for some couple minutes. Aisha and Abdurrahman say, when I follow the order in other actions, I walk to school, work, school, I drink water, I eat food. Am I the one creating the action, the result? So I think this is in response to one of our friends' questions here. So when I follow the order in other actions, as in I walk to school or work, I drink water and eat food, am I the one creating the action, the result? Who is the source of existence of everything else that happens when I choose to follow the order in my everyday life? So I think there's a connection here being made. Even in my choosing a particular way, the action itself and the result of the action, the source of the existence of that action is not me, for sure. And so the existence of the action and the result look to the source of existence of everything. And then they continue, just reiterating along the lines of what Sarah succinctly said, trying to live in a state of Bismillah equals trying to live in a state where I am conscious of the source of existence of all that I am experiencing within me, around me, etc. Abdurrahman and Aisha and Abdurrahman, would you like to speak on your comment? If not, I'd like to take.
Hi,
Go ahead.
Assalamualaikum.
Mhm.
I mean, yeah, I was just the comments were from some minutes ago, so I don't. But and you read them already, but yeah, I guess like if I'm looking in terms of the order and this the creation, the existence of this virus, and how I can secure my safety or my health by following the order, it made me question, how is it that I experience the results of things in my everyday to day life? When I do things, when I talk, or when I open my mouth to talk, when I, raise my hand to gesture something. Do I question for myself how it is that these movements, this speech is coming about, or how is it that I am experiencing the order of things? I ask for something, I open my mouth because I want to speak, I make that choice, and then I just find it being created for me in a sense, or at least existing in a sense where I have to question, how is this coming into existence? So as Sarah had said, in a way, I'm in a state where I am asking, I choose and I ask that these things be created for me, but I don't find myself to be the source of existence of that which comes about when I ask. I can follow the order that I observe, but I can never guarantee for myself that what I expect as a result will definitely come about. And just I guess as Brother Ali was also saying, focusing on the existence of how things are coming about, how it is that everything is coming about. And as he was saying, like the sense of fear, I definitely, especially I try to avoid it, but if I see or read news or, these constant sort of WhatsApp messages that are circulating or anything, there is this sense of sometimes fear or anxiety. And then I have to stop and hopefully, this session has been, alhamdulillah, a great opportunity for me to question these feelings in myself as well. I'm really enjoying the discussion. How come this sense of fear? How come this anxiety exists within me? What is the source of existence of them? I don't ask to be fearful. I don't ask to be anxious, but I find myself in those states. And then, I have to question it. I have to ask, how are these things, the existence of them, coming about? And I guess when I tie them, when I see where they lead me, how they take me to their source of existence, I also know that that same sort of existence is must be the one that relieves me of it. These feelings become opportunities for me to connect myself onto their source, to communicate myself onto their source, to acknowledge the source of existence. And I guess, I'm human. I think it's my humanness mandates that I'm needy, and I feel very impotent, very insecure, very powerless, very out of control. I have no control, right? Regardless of whatever measures I think I may be taking within as much as I can, and I should try to take measures. Right? If there's a certain order, I should try to follow that order. But at the end of the day, I realize how completely and utterly, things are out of control, out of my control. And then it leads me to, I guess, these feelings of, well, I want security, but I cannot guarantee it. Hand sanitizer, I don't know, Purell, anything. These things cannot guarantee the security that I so ardently desire. And so I go to these things, I say, can you grant me security? Can you grant me security? And they seem to, in their own impotence, say, no, we can't. But I know that I need security. So I guess leads me to search for the source of security. And whoever has given me whatever has given me this need for security must also be the one to fulfill it. So I'm kind of just rambling on, but I guess for me then it was living in a state where I am conscious of divine unity, living in a state where I am hopefully in a state of Bismillah, means for me then to be in a state where I realize or acknowledge or try to be conscious of the source of existence of everything that is happening and all that is happening within myself as well, all the feelings that I am undergoing as well, what they lead me to, what they point me to, what they connect me to, um, and hopefully, inshallah, I guess being able to experience that complete security, complete satisfaction when I latch myself onto the source. That's all I have to say for now. Thank you.
Thank you. I think that was a beautiful summary of all the main points that we discussed. I would like to take this moment to read a comment here that says, just a comment, it's easy to take the sun and air for granted, but isn't the coronavirus an excellent reminder for us to ask fundamental questions of existence? We cannot ignore it. A thing that we cannot perceive with our eyes caused the entire world to stop and do things differently. We can learn many lessons, i.e., we have no control and we are simply dependent. There are great blessings in this situation. Routine gives a false sense of control. Yeah, I think definitely even just saying, like in this particular state of fear, just saying, where is this fear coming from? Or where is this sense of desire for health coming from? And I think is the breaking of the routine that I usually find myself in. There's another comment that says we can now pay attention to the true source of security, relief, and comfort after everything else is taken away. Previously, perhaps we found security and comfort in routine, socializing, etc., but now we are compelled to look deeper. Yeah, I think as everyone here is suggesting, when in my seeking of that security, I might have had or I might still have a false sense of security in following a list of precautions, but those precautions themselves cannot protect me. So I continue to seek a secure source, a secure point of reference, that I can connect myself to, latch my being onto, so that I don't feel like everything in the world is out to get me, and that my need for this health, it can only be met by the one who gives me the need for it. So I think at this time I think we're supposed to be ending maybe like 9-10 minutes ago. I know we started a little bit late, but inshallah I can take any final comments, and then we can call it a day. There's a microphone open, but unfortunately I cannot hear you.
It's Tolu speaking. I just want to say thank you for the different comments on my question. It was very helpful.
Thank you for your question as well. There is hope. We cannot hear you. I don't know if you're speaking.
Now, can you hear me?
Very low, but I can tell I'll repeat what you say to everyone else if they're not able to hear you.
So we would like to get back to our daily lives, and some of us may want to travel, go outdoors, and because of this virus, we're learning that everything is not up to us. We're not in control of everything. So now, do we take the time to reflect on divine unity and what that means for our lives moving forward? What can we do to remind ourselves of God and the higher power, so that when this is done, we come back rejuvenated, refreshed, and we're ready to not necessarily go back to forgetting, but actually remembering and remembering our connection to the divine.
Thank you. So your voice towards the end was great, by the way. I don't know if you changed positions or something. That was great. For those who may have missed the beginning of this friend's comment, they said that, you know, we might want to go back to our lives, but utilizing this virus is an opportunity to see the divine unity in our lives and to continue to utilize it as a opportunity to be conscious of one's creator even after the virus has gone away, is what I understood. So at this point, inshallah, when we can end, if our host wants to make the closing dua, that would be great. Thank you.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم وآخر دعواهم إن الحمد لله رب العالمين سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. Thank you for everyone who joined and as a listener, as listeners, as comment makers, or asking the question, everyone. Inshallah, next Saturday, we will have this discussion start at 11:30 and end at 1 o'clock. Today, I wasn't familiar with the technique, and we are trying to arrange the Zoom program together with the YouTube and uploading on YouTube as well, this discussion. So, we had some technical problems. That's why we started that. Apologies for it. Thank you very much. I hope to see you all Monday, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Monday, 6:30. Did you close it?